Right now, time for a moment of reflection, and I've invited the Reverend Gary Hodgson, who represents the Tongue, Homewood and Lasterdyke parish in Bradford, to do us a pause for thought on this very special Christmas Day show. So Gary, thank you for joining us, and over to you.
Hello. Well, it's Christmas. The Christmas decorations are up. The Christmas tunes have been on the radio since long before the leaves had finished falling from the trees. And despite my protests, I still found myself singing along to all of them. And in church, we've decorated the crib. We're singing all the Christmas carols. And we're retelling that familiar Christmas story of how God's Son was born on a cold winter's night in a cosy stable with the cattle lowing a gentle lullaby. Can I tell you a secret? Just between you and me. Sometimes when I'm in the middle of one of those beautiful candlelit carol services, I want to shout out, "Stop! I mean, come on, are you listening to this story? It's outrageous. What was God thinking?" This young woman up north in Nazareth is just minding her own business, planning her wedding day, when all of a sudden God gate crashes her life, sending a messenger with the offer of a very different future. "Peace be with you," the angel says to Mary. Peace. I mean, what do you think about when you think of peace? An end to violence, stillness and tranquility, security, or time to yourself, space and quiet. Well, I don't think Mary got any of those things, especially living in a patriarchal society with a strong sense of family honour and shame. Following another disturbing messenger from the angel, at least Mary's fiancé Joseph sticks by her, sharing in some of the shame. And then they have to travel to Bethlehem for the Roman census, and there's nowhere to stay. The baby's born in a barn, not the cleanest of maternity units. And then they're visited by a bunch of very rough-looking shepherds who claim they've been sent by an angel, followed by foreigners who apparently followed a star. And then they must flee for their lives and live as refugees from a paranoid king who's heard about the birth of the Prince of Peace. Peace. All of this has got me thinking about whether I'm wrong about peace. This year, we've celebrated the arrival of 3 grandchildren. We've been waiting for them, making plans, preparing, watching their mummies' tummies grow and their backs ache. And then at different times this year, we've heard the news that a baby has been born. I'll never forget the wonder of that first encounter with each one of them. You know, when you hold the baby in your arms, gaze into their face and make that connection. In one of the modern versions of John's Gospel, in the first chapter, it describes the arrival of Jesus in this way. The Word became flesh and blood and moved into the neighbourhood. Maybe when God is talking about peace, maybe it's all about the offer of connection. That despite all that we encounter in this life, the ups and the downs, the struggles, the difficulties, the disappointments, as well as the joys and celebrations, that we don't have to do this alone. We're invited to share it all with the Prince of Peace and the Lord of Lords, who moved into our neighbourhood to make a special connection with each one of us. So whatever you're facing today, may you know the peace of the Christ child this Christmas.